Wally West stumbles through the desert, overwhelmed by panic and guilt as crackling lightning surrounds him. He's grappling with the consequences of a catastrophic event, questioning what he's done and whether he can fix it. His thoughts race as he realizes he's on the run. Fear grips him at the thought of his dad finding out, convinced he'll be in even deeper trouble. Desperation sets in. Everything feels ruined, and Wally believes he's messed up beyond repair. He's overwhelmed by the chaos of his powers, desperately trying to slow things down and regain control. He repeats the breathing techniques someone taught him, struggling to steady himself amidst the surge of energy. Then everything shifts. Suddenly, he's 2 days in the past, standing on train tracks in the rain. His thoughts anchor him, reaffirming his identity as Wally West, a 15-year-old caught in something much bigger than himself. Beneath the surface of the water, his reflection stares back, as if questioning what's to come. Wally sneaks into a military installation late at night, trying to keep a low profile but getting stopped by the guards. They remind him he isn't supposed to be there, warning that his father, Colonel West, wouldn't be happy about it. Before things escalate, Dr. Barry Allen steps in, casually diffusing the tension and vouching for Wally. With an easygoing attitude, Barry reassures Wally that he's always welcome. As they walk through the military base, Barry casually acknowledges the challenges of Wally's constant relocations due to his father's work. Wally, somewhat detached, confirms he's moved around a lot, struggling to form lasting friendships. Barry picks up on this, showing a bit of empathy toward Wally's lonely lifestyle. Just as Wally is about to leave for the night, Barry calls him back with a mischievous grin. Barry leads him through a high-tech hallway as he casually asks if Wally's dad ever talks about his secret research. Wally admits he doesn't know much, as his father keeps things private and rarely shares details. Barry tries to relate, mentioning that he and his own dad didn't have much in common either. As they approach a secure door, Barry scans his hand for access. Wally's eyes widen in shock as he takes in the futuristic lab before him. They walk into a top-secret lab, and Wally, curious and a bit skeptical, asks what exactly Barry does in this hidden facility. As he explores, he notices strange glass chambers containing test subjects, monkeys interacting with advanced technology. Barry explains that the project called Olympus is researching ways to enhance biology, though he insists it's more about understanding evolution than creating super soldiers. Wally listens, still trying to wrap his head around what he's seeing. Barry encourages Wally to spend more time at the lab, telling him he's smart and shouldn't waste his potential. Wally is intrigued but unsure, pointing out that everything in the lab is highly classified. Barry offers to talk to his dad and smooth things over, confident he can make it work. Before Wally can respond, the stern voice of his father interrupts. Standing in the shadows, Wally's dad confronts him, clearly unimpressed and demanding to know why he's sneaking around. Wally tries to defend himself, insisting he wasn't sneaking around, but his father doesn't believe him and accuses him of running wild. Frustrated, Wally snaps back, pointing out that he doesn't have any friends, making his father's accusations feel even more unfair. Barry steps in, explaining that he was just showing Wally the lab, but Wally's dad immediately shuts him down, reminding him that children aren't permitted in the facility. When Barry tries to reason with him, Colonel West coldly dismisses him and orders Wally to go home. Defeated, Wally reluctantly agrees, knowing there's no point in arguing. Transitioning to the present, Wally sits alone in the desert, weighed down by regret and uncertainty. His thoughts spiral as he questions every choice he's made, wondering if he should have stayed with his dad or avoided Barry altogether. He wishes he had just run away when he had the chance, believing it would have been better for everyone. Staring out at the empty landscape, he convinces himself that isolation is the only way to keep others safe. As Wally sits in the desert, he notices something in the distance and squints to get a better look. He mutters, "Dad?" in confusion, unsure of what he's seeing. Suddenly, a boomerang slices through the air, followed by a mysterious flying ship that roars toward him. His instincts kick in as he realizes he's in danger, and he takes off running to avoid whatever's coming next. Wally sprints toward a cave, desperately trying to escape the incoming attack. A voice from the ship evaluates him, debating whether they have permission to engage. The glowing boomerang pursues him relentlessly, tracking his every move. As he dashes into the darkness of the cave, Wally realizes he's in serious trouble. The Absolute Universe's version of Captain Cold and the Rogues step out of their ship, ready to hunt down Wally. He calmly gives orders, directing his crew, Jesse and Lisa, to flank their target while Harkness moves in directly. When asked if Wally should be taken dead or alive, Cold makes his choice clear. With a smirk, he decides to let Wally live, for now. Wally dashes through the cave, his mind racing as he struggles to process everything happening around him. Doubts and frustration fill his thoughts, questioning how Captain Cold and his team even found him. Suddenly, his body tenses, and a surge of energy erupts from within him. He clutches his head in pain as golden lightning explodes around him. His powers are out of control again, and he's caught in the middle of it. The scene shifts, marking the moment as one day ago, hinting at a critical event that set everything in motion. Wally sits in his room, playing his bass guitar and lost in the music, when something strange suddenly happens. A surge of energy jolts through him, making his eyes widen in shock. Confused, he pulls his hands away from the guitar as if something just coursed through him. Wally's dad checks in on him, noticing something is off, but he brushes it off and insists he's fine. His father sits down, trying to have a serious conversation about what Wally saw at the mountain lab. He acts confused, but his dad doesn't buy it. He warns Wally that the work being done there is dangerous and that he needs to be protected. Frustrated and angry, Wally confronts his father about uprooting his life for the sake of his job. He demands to know what he's supposed to do, just sit around, wait, and move again when his dad decides. He argues that at least Barry saw potential in him, unlike his father. At the mention of Barry, his dad's demeanor shifts, and he sternly forbids Wally from ever speaking to him again. Defeated, Wally gives a sarcastic salute and prepares to leave. Furious, he lashes out at his father with a harsh remark, saying that if his mom were still around, they both would have left him. Without waiting for a response, he storms out into the rain, pulling his hood over his head. As he runs, he suddenly catches a strange reflection in a puddle, making him stop in his tracks. In the final panel, glowing red rectangles appear in the rain, seemingly leading him toward something. Whether by instinct or fate, Wally follows them toward the hidden facility. He enters the facility, calling out for Dr. Allen, but receives no response. As he cautiously moves deeper inside, he notices something off about one of the test chambers. Suddenly, the monkey he saw before has mutated into a monstrous creature, lunging at the glass with a piercing screech. Shocked and terrified, Wally stumbles back as the creature thrashes wildly. The horrifying sight sends him running, realizing something has gone terribly wrong. He moves deeper into the facility, calling out for Barry as he steps into a room bathed in an eerie red and pink glow. His eyes widen in shock as he takes in the sight before him, realizing something is terribly wrong. The room hums with energy, wires sparking and machinery pulsing unnaturally. His heart pounds as he steps closer, knowing whatever Barry was working on has spiraled out of control. Wally stares in shock as he sees Barry trapped inside a glowing glass chamber, now wearing a strange, flash-like suit. Barry desperately shouts for Wally to run, warning him to get away before it's too late. The room crackles with unstable energy, and streaks of red and pink light lash out. Wally hesitates for a moment, frozen by the chaos unfolding before him. Before he can react, the strange energy surges toward him, wrapping around his body. Captain Cold and his team continue their pursuit of Wally, tracking him deep into the cave. Cold orders Harkness to flush him out, and Boomerang, confident as ever, prepares to let his weapons do the work. With his gun drawn, Cold senses that Wally is close. Wally scrambles up the rocky cave walls, desperately trying to escape as memories of the past flood his mind. His breathing quickens as he recalls the chaotic moment with Barry, his guilt weighing heavily on him. Energy crackles around him as he envisions himself at the center of the catastrophe. He tells himself that he can run as far as he wants, but he'll never outrun what he's done. Fear and regret consume him as he realizes he knows exactly what happened to Barry. Wally freezes and falls to the ground as he comes face to face with a decayed corpse lying in the cave, its lifeless form unmistakable. He doesn't need to check the ID. He already knows. His stomach drops, and a wave of guilt crashes over him again as he whispers, "Barry." He says to himself in condemnation, "You did this, Wally. You killed him." 1 year later, the ruins of a destroyed facility sit in eerie silence, its broken remains hinting at past devastation. A mysterious green hand emerges from a shattered mirror, suggesting something, or someone, has just returned. In the dimly lit wreckage, a shadowy figure moves with purpose, accessing a long-forgotten project stored within the lab's computing systems. As the lone figure verbally provides the password Blue Trinity, the system begins retrieving old archives. Whatever Barry was working on isn't finished yet, and someone is determined to uncover the truth. The mysterious figure watches various images on a screen, piecing together the events leading up to Barry's death. One image shows something engulfed in fire, while another depicts Wally interacting with a monkey. A third image reveals Wally trying on a flash-like suit, and a fourth shows a city in ruins, with caped gorillas overseeing the destruction. The figure, now revealed to be Mirror Master, grins as he plans his next move. The chilling words, "Time to make this world fall," signal that the story is far from over.